I'm always on the hunt for board games I can play with my wife. She's not a big gamer like me, so it's about finding games that are easy to get into and don't last all night. These are the best couples games I've found over the last few years. If these don't reignite your relationship, perhaps it's time to become a solo gamer. Or person. If you want to buy any of them, there are links below that help support the channel. Right, let's get to the list. In Gatsby, you play as rival socialites, trying to get close to the great Jay Gatsby, so he'll invite you to one of his sick house parties. And it's all about who you know. You win the game by befriending, or perhaps kidnapping, enough of Gatsby's friends for him to notice you. The friends come in colours. You win Gatsby's heart by collecting all 5 colours or 3 of the same. Now, that detail wasn't in the book, and I think it suffered for it. To make things spicy, some of the friends are hidden. You don't know their true colour until you invite them into your life and they reveal themselves. Ain't that the truth, sister? And it means you don't know all the colours your opponent has. It raises the heartbeat of the game because you're never sure if they're about to steal victory from you. In the 1920s, there are 3 places you can make friends with rich people: at the cabaret, on Wall Street, and at the racetrack. It was a simpler time. It was a worse time. We mustn't idealize the past. That is one of the key messages of the book. The trouble is, you can't be everywhere at once, and while you're schmoozing at the cabaret, your rival is hobnobbing at the racetrack. It hurts to lose friends to your nemesis, but you can't make everyone like you. That's okay. Remember, you only need 3 friends, if they're the right ones. You've each got the same amount of time in the day, so where the game is really won is in the bonus actions that you get on certain spots. This one lets you swap tokens around, which can turn the tide in a horse race. The ultimate dick move is this one, giving your opponent the finger. That lets you choose which action they take next turn. Send them off to the races for the day so you can clean up at the cabaret in peace. It can create some wonderful plays, claiming 2 friends in one move, earning your smug rich person grin, as your opponent is left lying face down in a swimming pool. This action lets you look at 2 hidden friends to find the colours you need, and you can swap them, put the one you need at the horse race you're more likely to win. But you don't have to, and they won't know if you did. I love that little dose of deception. The secrecy in the game makes you feel conniving, like you're casting aspersions about their unkempt mustache in the smoking lounge. The overriding feeling of Gatsby is of wanting to control everything, but it feeling just outside of your grasp. You can plan ahead. Take this action so they'll take that one. Go here so they can't get that bonus. But there's always something you won't have thought of. They'll find a creative way to squirm around your obstacles, and it hurts, but feels really cool when you're the one doing the squirming. The Gatsby theme is thin. Don't expect to relive the novel. It's just not that kind of game. But as set decoration goes, I'd rather some nice art deco than more anthropomorphic animal nonsense. Don't be deceived by the cuteness of Toy Battle. It is the smartest 2-player game of the last few years, and the simplest war game you'll ever play. It takes that fusty genre, meant for grey-haired military buffs who have seen about as much action as their bedsheets, and peels away the dry, uninviting outer layers, leaving you with the pure fun at its centre. You send your toys into battle to win stars by surrounding a region on all sides, and your opponent is stopping you by covering up your toys with theirs, because each toy has a strength, so if they play the soldier worth 2, you can easily beat it by playing something stronger like the T-Rex on top of it. But you might not have it. When you place a toy, you don't draw another one. Instead, you've got to waste a turn to draw up. It's on you to decide when to replenish, which is fiendish. There's never a good time to turn away from the battle when the enemy is marching towards you, and eventually you'll run out completely, wetting yourself because there was never a good time to go to the toilet. And if you don't draw up, you've got less options to choose from, less of a tactical advantage, because each toy has its own special power. Jumbo the Knight can destroy an adjacent toy, wipe the T-Rex off the map with ease. And these battles stack up, so you can use Jumbo to reveal your unicorn that you placed earlier. The way the powers combine is sublime. Every character at the right time has the ability to change the game. Like Quack, the rubber duck, can beat any toy, so it's perfect for a last-ditch attempt to win a region. But seconds later, it's useless because it can be beaten by any other toy. The genius rule is that to be able to play somewhere, you must have a connected line of troops back to your home base. It's simple but devastating. You can neuter your opponent by cutting them off at their roots. You're racing to get to 6 points first, so it's natural to rush out a bunch of weak toys. But that makes it easy for your opponent to slice through your back line just when you're about to claim victory. You're always going to have back problems if you don't build a strong core. And because there's a second way to win this game. If you have a complete line from your home base to theirs, you can win by taking their base. That's where the soldier can pull off a surprise victory because he lets you place twice in a row. Much like in Toy Story, every character has its moment to save the day. I love this game. It's co-designed by Paolo Mori, who has been honing these tiny war games with Blitzkrieg and Caesar, and Toy Battle is the best one yet. Even the production is lovely. It's a small box. There's no plastic in sight. These solid wooden racks, they perfectly fit your hand limit, so you know when you can't draw anymore. And there's 8 different maps in the box, each with their own rules, which gives you so much replayability. All for less than £30. You might think that the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth is a lazy cash grab, rushed out to capitalize on the success of some books that were just released 70 years ago. But you'd be wrong. It was 71 years ago. Frodo and his close male friends are taking a ring to a volcano because it's bad. And a bad guy who lives at the volcano wants the ring to do bad things. What? I'm paid to explain board games, not books. In the game, you either play as Frodo or his arch nemesis, Bad Volcano Guy. But no matter who you play, the goal of the game is the same: to win. And you can do that in 3 ways: by allying with the 6 races of Middle-earth, by controlling all the regions on the map, or by completing the quest for the ring, i.e. racing to the end of this track. Turn away now if you were hoping for some complex emergent narrative. This is a great strategy game first, and a Lord of the Rings game second. Probably an entertainer third. You're competing across 3 arenas, a triathlon if you will, but all at once, jumping between your bicycle and the water from one turn to the next. It all depends on what card you take from this display. This mesh of cards is your J.R.R. Tolkien. It decides what you do. You might desperately need to attack your rival in Rohan. Well, tough luck. That's not on the cards for you today. You can either find some gold or chase rings like your Sonic the Hedgehog. But as you take cards, you unlock others. If you take the ring card, it lets them get this elven card which they really need. So like any good arch nemesis, you do the other thing to spite them. With every choice, you're weighing up what you want to do with what you don't want your opponent to do. It's mean older brother energy. And the reason you're watching them like a hawk is because they could win at any minute. Every goal is an instant win. So if they've got 5 different race cards in front of them, they only need 1 card to take the victory. And where is it? Half of them are face down. They get revealed when they're unlocked. So in the final chapter, you live in fear that every card is the one they need to beat you. That's the finish line, but the route you take to get there will decide who turns up stronger, collecting skills and special abilities to make cards cheaper to buy. So if Frodo's been listening to self-improvement podcasts while walking up this volcano, he's going to turn up mentally ripped and blow Sauron's mind. Oh, that's his name. I try to recommend games that will appeal to most partners, but sometimes the best games are based on obscure parts of German history, and I want to recommend them anyway. And maybe your partner is into that. They do have unconventional taste. Rival Cities depicts the infamous 16th century rivalry between the cities of Hamburg and Altona. And by infamous, I mean not famous. Surprisingly, that one didn't make it into our German history classes, because they've really had a lot of history since then. Really busy for a while back there, just a fully packed schedule of history. Whereas nowadays, you don't hear a peep out of them. seems like they're taking a break from history, which I totally get. You either play as Altona or Hamburg, which could only really be beaten by Cheeseburg. You're trying to tip the balance in favour of your city by winning legal battles or ships or alliances, or by gaining so much prestige that your city eclipses the other, forcing it to implode in embarrassment. The jewel of this game is this path of cards that's going around the board. You take it in turns to move the ink jar along it, getting the action where it lands. It works like an IKEA store. You can only move in one direction. You can't go back to get that chair or child you forgot about. So by taking this action, you're jumping over these ones, stopping your opponent from doing them, like a mother grabbing their child's arm and rushing them past the toy shop so they can't go in. But then you're taking them closer to something else and there's bloody toy shops everywhere. You can't just relax and go to the shops you want. Because while you're collecting beer to buy your next ship, they're collecting cloth to rig a lawsuit. And they're getting scarily close to winning their third one and winning the game. So you've resorted to cloth blocking them. It doesn't help that every stop is brilliant, and some are extra brilliant. These special cards have 3 actions you get to do at once. Those are the hotspots you're both eyeing up, evenly placed to create constant tension. And in amongst it all is oodles of synergy. You pay your leather to the lawsuit, and that gives you a factory, which means you can produce more furniture, even more if you're allied with Oslo. So now you can buy this ship, which moves you twice on the prestige track. So at the end of the round, you'll get a beer and a cloth for free. There's discounts and loopholes to be found on every corner. And when you make them flow together, you feel like a smooth criminal, or Hamburglar, as they say in German. If you're looking for a 2-player game that's a little meatier, then Rival Cities is the prime rib, if you can stomach the theme. Okay, so now I'm hungry. If you played a lot of 2-player games and you're looking for something completely different, you should try Agent Avenue. It's all about getting in each other's heads. And isn't that what love's all about? It's my turn to pick where we go on holiday next. Stop trying to influence me. N'importe quoi. You play as rival spies, and you're trying to catch them before they catch you. Every turn you give your opponent a choice between 2 cards, one face up and one face down. You're trying to make them choose the option you want them to choose. Okay, there's only 2 ice creams left, so do you want caramel or mystery flavour? Mystery flavour. Good, because there's actually only 1 ice cream left. Because whichever card they take, you get the other one. Your card tells you how far you move around the board, so if you move forward 2 and they go back 1, the gap is closing, and if you ever catch them, you win the game. What's clever is the cards act differently depending on how many of them you have. The first Sentinel card you take is useless, you don't move, but the third one moves you 6 spaces. It ratchets up the tension of the game because suddenly every turn is a potential winning one if you can get the right card. But your opponent knows that, so they're desperately trying to stop you from getting it. And that's where the mind games get spicy, because every time it's your turn, they will be terrified of that face down card. That's a pigeon. Might be. It's a bloody pigeon. Take it then. I have to, I can't let you win the game. You can use that fear against them and put a trap in there instead. Oh, come on. I knew you'd take it. Except they know that you might do that. So how do you play it next time? It's a classic mind game conundrum that's always fun, straight out of games like Cockroach Poker. But it's rare to find it in a 2-player game, and it's brilliantly done. Because being caught isn't the only threat. If either player collects 3 code breakers, they immediately win. So once they have 2, every face down card could be an attempt at victory. Whereas if you get 3 daredevils, you immediately lose. Those 3 ways to win combine to create an exciting finish to every game. And there's always this fun bit of deliberation as you weigh up your options. You speak them out loud to your opponent, like you're James Bond unveiling the villain's master plan. Right, if this is a Sentinel and I take it, then you'd lose the game, and you wouldn't take that risk. So it must be an enforcer. So I'm going to take this, and you can have that. Oh, I wouldn't take that risk, would I? You think you know me. You haven't even begun to think you know me. And sometimes as you're doing it, you realise both cards will kill you. That's your comeuppance for a few turns of bad choices. You've been conned by the love of your life, or whoever you're dating right now. The base game is pure genius on its own, but there's also an advanced mode in the box, which gives you special cards when you land on certain parts of the track. And they twist the rules, giving you other ways you can win and more to think about. Whichever mode you play, you're gonna have a good time. What I love about Agent Avenue is you're seeing a different side to your partner that you don't get in everyday life. And for us, after 20 years, it's nice that you can still surprise each other.
So, which one will it be? Caramel or mystery flavour?
You wouldn't pull the same trick on me twice. Mystery flavour.
Mystery flavour it is.
What? You lost the game, but you won this. Wow, I should lose games more often. Thank you. I don't get to play games with my wife as much as we used to, which makes it even more special when we do. And it's nice to celebrate those little wins, or your big losses, with a gift. And Gentle Bands, the sponsor of today's video, make amazing gifts. Every one of their rings is handmade using rare and unique materials. This one, the Black Label, combines tungsten with 18 karat gold for a really sophisticated look. And they get creative with the materials they make their rings out of. This one, called the Fordawn, combines tungsten with wood from a whiskey barrel, and the center is made of the antler of an elk, which is ethically sourced from naturally shed antlers, so it doesn't harm any animals. They even have rings made of meteorite, guitar string, and dinosaur bone. So if you're buying for a musician or a dinosaur geek, you can find the ring that's perfect for them. And make it their own with a custom engraving, which is free for a limited time. And don't worry about buying the wrong size, because they offer free resizing as well as a lifetime warranty. And free replacement coverage. If you lose the ring, they will send you another one for free. How good is that? Get yourself the perfect gift at gentlebands.com and use my code ACTUALLOL to get 25% off. There's a link in the description below. Thanks to Gentle Bands for sponsoring this video. In the Architects of Amethyst, a lesser known Gilbert and Sullivan, you are competing to build the best city by arranging buildings in a way that helps you now, then, and later. You see, there's 3 times a building can score you points. There's now, when you build it, you score it for its type. Like a wall scores 2 points for every wall on the edge of the city. The right tile at the right time can get you loads of points in the moment. But is it the right color? Because you're also trying to create these patterns to score even more points. And it feels so satisfying when the right color goes exactly where you need it. But is the stack at the right level? You can place tiles on top of each other and you'll score points at the end of the game for stacks of certain heights. So can you place the right building of the right color at the right height? That's your architectural dream. And sometimes you will achieve it. This isn't one of those sadistic tile laying games that dangles a carrot you can't possibly reach. It lets you have the occasional bite to give you a taste for it. And now you're carrot obsessed. And it won't break your brain. It's clear what your options are. This tile is good for now, but bad for then. This one is good for then and okay for later. It's like deciding what jacket to wear when it's sunny now but gonna rain this afternoon. It's 2025 and we still don't have a solution for that. But wait, there's the 4th dimension. As you place out your workers to collect tiles, you're trying to create 3 in a row, a tic-tac-toe. That's what lets you unlock those endgame scoring goals. So it's not just about which building or what color it is, but is it in the right place for your tic-tac-toe? Or better yet, does it block your opponents? That elevates it from a thinky puzzle to a tense duel. It's like going from being single to being in a relationship for the first time. You can't just think about yourself anymore. You have to be prepared for how this other person might ruin your life. As games go, Patterns is not the prettiest on my shelf. And that's because I've actually hidden it in the basement so it doesn't put my guests off their dinner. But that's how you know this is true love. I'm not with her for how she'll look on my arm at game night. It's her mind that I care about. It's fitting that it's a diamond in the rough because this is a game about spotting potential. You will stare at these colored discs trying to find the perfect cluster to claim and turn into a success. Like buying a fixer-upper on a street that's an up-and-comer. You plucky mother. You start your first cluster by placing your disc onto the board. If you have a yellow, then you're going to want to place it amongst other yellows, in the hope you'll absorb them into your cluster. To show it's yours, you place your first number, 1, on top. Sadly, that also shows how much it's worth, 1 point per disc. So you can target the biggest mass of yellows, but it won't earn you much. Which is fair enough, they're the easy pickings at the start of the game. Your 6th colour will be worth 6 points per disc, but by the time you get around to claiming that, the board will be locked up and you'll be lucky to get a single disc. Forward planning is everything, because when you claimed that yellow region, you had to swap your yellow disc for one on the board, in this case a green disc. That's your next colour. So when you're eyeing up where to put your yellow, you're looking even further ahead. Is there a good green cluster to claim elsewhere? Or should you swap with a red instead? It turns out this uninspiring name makes sense because patterns are exactly what you're looking for as you scan the board like Neo reading lines of code in the Matrix. But instead of claiming your next color region, you could expand one you already have, taking a turn to flip over one of those yellows to lock it in, because it's not yours until it's flipped, so you could still lose it. Flipping is especially good if it can cause problems for your opponent, leaving them less space to expand into. That's the next level of this game, how you mess with your opponent. If they've just bought in a green area and are looking to gentrify a massive cluster, you could move in next door and cause a nuisance, because your 2 green areas can't meet, so it creates a wasteland in between that neither of you can build on. You've sabotaged your own green and pleasant land because you don't want them to have one, which does seem to be a popular mindset at the moment. The board closes off so quickly. It feels like you have 4 opponents, the rate at which you get hemmed in. In 10 minutes, you go from open board, full of possibility, to claiming what scraps remain, wondering where you went wrong. Then you shuffle it up and try again, both having learnt to be a little more ruthless next time. Because one thing is for certain when playing patterns, it ain't gonna be pretty. In Boreal, you're collecting pieces of a lost world because civilization has collapsed and we're living in nature again. And who doesn't sometimes dream of that? But it would take me further away from my other dream of having underfloor heating, so I fear we must endure. In essence, it's a puzzle. You're adding cards to your pyramid, trying to find the perfect arrangement, because each card will only thrive with the right neighbours. It's like trying to design the perfect seating plan at your wedding, knowing your blue friend will score if you seat them next to as many redheads as possible. Maybe that will cheer him up. But someone else is poaching the best redheads for their table. That's what sets this game apart from other puzzle games. In this, you have a direct adversary. Your partner is sabotaging your seating plan to make the best day of your life the best day of their life instead. You can only buy cards from your end of the market at first. As you gain money, you also gain access to more of the market. And suddenly, what's yours is now theirs. So you can't leave a good card on the shelf for long. But if you take it now, it will be in the wrong place. You have to build your pyramid up from the bottom. And to get maximum points for every adjacent red card, you want to put it right in the middle. Instead, you could reserve it, set it aside to buy later. But that wastes a turn. And the game ends when someone finishes their pyramid. So if you take too long, they will rush the end, so you're only half finished with half the points. Getting the pyramid just how you want it is impossible. It's all about cobbling together the best you can manage. It's not a puzzle that will make your brain burn. It's more about spotting the best opportunities when they present themselves. Another tricky balance is paying for the cards, because you collect income every turn from the number of compasses visible in your pyramid. But once you cover a card up, you lose its income. And so suddenly you're strapped for cash. You could reserve a card for later when you can afford it, but a real winner will optimize their cash flow so they're never left waiting for payday. It's a simple game, but its ideas intertwine so well that every decision is an important one. I played this one over and over, and it still has me coming back to try and master it, even though I never will. You might though. Zenith is a futuristic tug of war with 5 ropes. You are fighting over Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter, trying to pull them to your side of the board. You're like a divorced couple, fighting for the favour of your 5 children. You can't make them all like you, Because while you win Jupiter around by taking him shopping for moons, your ex is with Mercury, poisoning her against you. And honestly, I've heard worse names for children at nursery drop-off. The fight is so clear. You can see they're about to claim Venus, so you play a card that pulls it back to your side. And they play another to pull it back again. Tug for tug, you can't beat them, so you'll have to get clever. And Zenith has a lot of room for that. Every card costs money to play, and the best ones are expensive. So first you need to play one that makes you cash. But you don't have to let go of your ropes to do that, because every card has 2 or 3 actions, so you can pull Mars and make money. Also, next turn you can afford this card to pull it all the way to your side. Lining up a string of turns in your head is so satisfying and surprisingly easy. The iconography makes it look more intimidating than it is. It will slow down your first games, but they've been nice enough to give you a reference card each, and it becomes second nature soon enough. The pulling back and forth, that's the goal, but it's not where the real game lies. Sure, they'll pull a planet every turn to distract the eyes, but what are they doing with their other hand? That's what you need to worry about, because it creeps up on you. If they collect Zenithium, they can advance up the technology track, gaining massive rewards. To do it, they'll have to risk 1 turn away from the ropes, but then it's like they've come back with a bionic arm, so you no longer can beat them tug for tug. To win the game, you need to collect 3 of one planet, 4 different, or 5 total. So at the start, you can keep your options open, but as soon as you've got one, everything changes. You start putting way more energy into certain planets, and you'll see those card stacks build up. And that helps because every card is a discount when buying your next one in that color. There's so much variety in the cards you get and the things you can do that you feel like you're holding immense potential in your hand, and the challenge is in wrangling it into something productive. And when you make it flow from one card to the next, you feel like a wizard. But remember, you do have an opponent, and when you look up from your navel and see them running away with it, you might live to regret your wizardry. In Marabunta, you play as rival ant colonies, laying claim to a picnic blanket by crawling all over it and eating as many cupcakes as possible. Shut up, the board games you like are about weird things. These ants like to do things fairly. Every round, the dice are rolled, and one of you will split them into 2 fairly even groups. It's like you're cutting the last slice of cake, so you both get a bit. Then the other player will choose one of those groups, so they better be even, or otherwise they're going to pick the big juicy bit, and you'll be left with the weaker half and an immense shame in your cutting abilities. In real life, the cake cutter's job is simple: cut that cake fair and true, but in Marabunta, the dice are a selection of tiny cupcakes, all with their own merits. You can't possibly divide them evenly. And that's the magic of this game. The dice let you send your ants to the picnic blanket. If I get an orange 3, I can write a 3 in the orange part of the map. And at the end of the game, you add up the numbers you have in each region, and the player with the most wins those points. So an orange 3 is way better than a blue 1. Or is it? Being ants, you trail across the picnic blanket. You can only write a number next to where you've already been. So if you've not quite made it to orange yet, then that dice is wasted on you. It also means you can block each other off, purposely create a wall of ants across the map so your opponent can't get through. The dice dividing might seem friendly, but when you get to the map, it's all out cattiness, anything to get the upper hand. And each dice will suit you both differently. So it's like splitting up 6 cupcakes, all with different flavors, knowing you love chocolate and they hate lemon. So do you put the ones you really want in a smaller group, hoping they'll go for quantity over quality? Well, that's risky because if they take it, you'll get nothing you need. It's such a fun decision, and the fear as they assess your offering, waiting to see if they'll take the one you want, is so good. You're also racing to get the cupcakes. They're positioned just in the right place to pull you away from the fight in the middle of the map. So you're caught in a dilemma between feeding yourself and kicking your opponent in the shins. And in Marabunta, those shins are just begging for it. Those are my 10 couples games you should know about. If you want to buy any of them, there are links in the description below that help support the channel. If you like this video, please subscribe to see more like it. I'm John Perkis, thanks for watching.